Good evening, everybody, and welcome. It's the book club tonight. I'm Geraldine Westra. I think probably most of you know me here. Thanks for taking the time out of your precious night and spending it with this amazing team. Just amazing. Everybody on here, you're all leaders. And you all desire personal and leadership growth. I know you do, and that's why we're here, right? Plus, you're all valuable. Every one of you are valuable. So please, you have value to add. Unmute pretty soon and let us know. Share your thoughts. So anyway, tonight we're going to start with chapter 8 of A Magic of Thinking Big. Make your attitudes your allies. This chapter talks about how our attitudes show on the outside. I just feel we, as we are growing as leaders, we have to know that that we speak without sound a lot. Our body language, our posture, tone of voice, our facial expressions, that all is very important. And our attitude comes out in all of those things. Let's see, page 168. It says that in the middle of the page, right attitudes make you effective in dealing with people. And that's what our business is. We're dealing with people. We love on people. We serve people. And the right attitudes enable you to develop as a leader. Right attitudes win for you in every situation. So yeah, attitudes are so important. Then he goes on to tell us to grow these 3 attitudes. The attitude of I'm activated, you are important, and service first. So I'm anxious to hear later on what you guys are going to say about these 3. I loved this section. Page 169 talks about our enthusiasm. How often don't we hear it when we talk to our sponsors, when we talk, on calls, how our enthusiasm is so important. Put enthusiasm, in our voices when we talk, our voice clips, and do it with a smile. And we know that enthusiasm is contagious then too. So it's super important for that. Page 171. The top of that page, it starts with how to develop our enthusiasm. So the first one is dig into it deeper. So we can do that by getting to know people, using the FORD acronym. We talked about that at Ruby Retreat. It's family, occupation, recreation, and dreams, or desires, dreams, desires. So, that's how we can find something to talk about with people, start a conversation. So, asking people about these things. I thought that was good. We talked about that at Ruby Retreat too. So the one page on page 173, it's life it up. I thought these were good. He gives such great examples like smile with your eyes, life up your thank yous. And when I was reading the life up your talk one, I was actually doing it on the plane. And as I was reading it, my eyebrows went up. That life up your talk. Try saying something like, it's nice to meet you, without raising your eyebrows. Just give it a try. It's nice to meet you. You can't do it with enthusiasm without using your facial expressions. So it's really important to life it up and life up your talk. I thought that was good. So and also would like to hear if you guys did the exercise about on the bottom of page 174 about I feel great today. When you read that, did you do your posture thing and I feel great today? I think it works. So make sure you do it. Probably every time you sit down and do your IPA and stuff. So Then the next one, number 3, was broadcast good news. He talks about how speaking favorably about the weather, regardless of what the weather is actually like. How many of us actually do that? I'm curious if you have any other areas, or if you have any other ideas on areas that we can do that. You know, he gave the example of weather. So if you guys have other areas, I'd love to hear that. Then 176 in the middle of the page, he says, does that person honestly feel better because he talked with me? So on the plane home, or on the plane to Ruby Retreat, I was sitting next to a lady. I don't know, is Kay on here? I don't think Kay, her name was Victoria. And I didn't read on the way out there because we talked the entire time. Kay said she saw my head bobbing. She was behind me a couple of rows. She saw my head bobbing all the time. But she did most of the talking, you know, and you know, whether or not, you know, it wasn't about even getting her to sign up under Plexus or whatever. It was just about making her feel important. And I just really think she probably felt better after that trip. I just, you know, so just an example about that. So let's see. I'm gonna find my notes. 177 talks about you are important attitude, to grow your you are important attitude. Remember that by esteeming others as important does not make you less important. You know, it's not it doesn't go like this, you know, it just, I think you kind of go together. It just seems like when you esteem others, you grow in importance too. It doesn't go that the other way. So you're not degrading yourself when you lift others up, is what I was trying to get at there. So page 181. The middle of the page, helping others to feel important rewards you because it makes you feel more important. Like, try blessing others and not be blessed yourself. It never happens. So I think we're getting kind of late here. He goes on and speaks about the importance of the name and how it's spelled and pronounced, kind of like Rochelle and Rachel. Right, Rochelle? I had to put that one in. So anyway, let's see. Let's just go on to chapter 9. Sorry, this is getting long. Sorry. So chapter 9 is think right towards the people. Success depends on the support of other people. And I bet if you would ask the jewels and diamonds on this page or on this call, you could also change the word success depends on the success of other people. You know, we can't do this ourselves. And when we think right about people, I think that, you know, that really is important. I loved on page 194 and 195, the President Johnson's rules. Can't wait to hear your thoughts on that one. Let's see, okay, so then 198, the top 6 ways to win, 6 ways to win friends by exercising a little initiative. Those were so good too. Some of them were kind of repeats from the chapter before. But what I liked a lot about this chapter is, if we go forward to page 207, was the conversation generosity. That, you know, it says it paves the way to a greater success in 2 important ways. It wins friends and it helps you learn more about people. So that example of Victoria on the plane, I learned more about her, you know, so I let her talk. And that terminology, conversation generosity, I thought that was so good. And okay, just one more thing, then I'll let you guys talk. So on the page, middle of page 209, It says the real test for thinking right towards people comes when things don't go exactly the way you want it. So that attitude, you know, we talk about it in home relationships, but also in our business relationships. You know, when things don't quite go right, when we don't get the watch, when we don't get the tennis shoes, you know, whatever, you know, that kind of thing. What is our attitude? And then that the hyphenated, how you think when you lose determines how long it will be until you win. But that was so good and so applicable to, yeah, to our business too. So anyway, what on these two chapters did you guys have?
You know, it's funny, Jer, that you bring up the name thing, because in both chapters, he talks about writing people's name right and pronouncing them right. And when he talked about, like, if you pronounce somebody's name wrong the second time you've met them, they do not, they kind of write you off. And I can completely agree with that, because my entire life I have been called Rachel, or my name has been spelled with a C, or like other Rochelle's name with an OC. It's rarely do I get called Rochelle and spelled with an S. And when somebody has met me before, or I'm friends on Facebook with them and they say happy birthday to me, but they spell my name wrong, I'm not really happy when I see that happy birthday, Rochelle, or happy birthday, Rachel. Like, it's always like, okay, hey, thanks. But it's like a burr under my saddle. Like, it just is right there. But when you go with somebody who like says my name right, can spell it right, I mean, I'm all for it. Like, it's like, let's go, let's be friends. You know how to say my name. Like, it's yay. But I thought it was really interesting. They said it in both chapters, like the name pronouncing. And like, it wasn't until I was in 7th grade that my teacher on the first day got my name right. And the only reason he got my name right is what I knew, is because he knew my dad. He actually called me my dad's name the second day of class, but that's a whole different thing. Anyway, but like the name thing really stuck out to me, was because I can completely agree with it. Like, if you spell my name wrong and it's right there in Messenger or right there on Facebook and you spell my name wrong, I do know that there's autocorrect and stuff. But like, when I go through a message and I'm sending a message, I really make sure that I have somebody's name spelled right. Or like, if I copy and paste something, that I have every single name right, because I can't stand that. So, and I know, like, it would mean so much to me if somebody spelt my name right. So that was like, when you brought that up, like, that was the one thing that I really wanted to say tonight, was the name thing, because that just,
Yep, very important.
hurts.
I'm going to piggyback on that, Rochelle, because I was just thinking about that too. When I read this chapter, my husband owns a business with his brother and his cousin, but everybody calls Adam. And I'm like, why are they calling you? Like, why can't they call one of the other guys? Neither of them have families. They aren't married. They have all the time in the world. Why are they calling you? Like, after hours, they'll call a cell phone. And I was thinking about this. And if you listen to him on the phone, he is very intentional and good about using a person's name 4 or 5 times in a short phone conversation. So those people, I never thought about it till reading this, but those people are feeling understood. They're feeling heard. They're like, they feel important. They feel like, okay, I'm a priority to this guy. So I'm going to keep calling him because he's going to take care of me, you know? But that really stuck out to me. Like I said, I didn't notice it before I read this chapter, and I'm like, oh yeah, now I get why I can't be mad about that. So
Nope, that's for sure. That's a good quality then, right?
Geraldine, as you were talking through the first chapter 8, talking about attitudes, I just had this flashback to a conversation I had with my husband a few days ago. It was actually less of a conversation than it should have turned into. So my husband has been unloading the dishwasher more often lately. And instead of just thanking him, I had to ask him, why have you been doing that more often? Because I was very curious, of course. And his response was not like the nicest. He just like, I'm just kind of sick of the sink being full of dishes. And instead of instead of being like nice about it, I immediately took my emotions and turned those into my attitude with him. And I was like, I took personal offense and was like, oh, he means he's sick of me not getting the dishes done when we have two small kids at home. And, you know, my mind went there. And I'm sure any of you that are moms can completely 100% relate. But yeah, I just had, you know, was thinking back to that. And in counseling this week, I talked with my counselor about like identifying my emotions and expressing them out loud to my husband or to whomever, without making that like my attitude. You can express your emotions and tell your husband or whomever, like, you know, that made me feel hurt or that made me feel dismissed, without having an attitude toward him or toward whomever you're speaking to of disdain or disappointment or you know, just a negative attitude. So I just think it's really important to differentiate between your emotions and your attitude, because you can be frustrated or angry or upset, you know, you name any negative emotion. We're all going to have negative emotions about things. You can't prevent them from coming, but it's very important how you differentiate between what you feel and how you act towards somebody.
I like having that channel N or channel P, huh?
That's good, Kaylee. Thank you for sharing that. So these chapters were amazing again, and I really appreciated so much talk on enthusiasm and excitement. And you know, let's talk about how we can apply some of this to our businesses, you guys. So enthusiasm, excitement, they can hear that. Potentials can hear that. Your customers can hear that. They know that, they see that, they feel that. So, and if you want to activate your team, you got to activate yourself first. So are you having enthusiasm? Are you excited about getting up and working this business every day? What are you passing on to your team when you maybe are frustrated with, you know, lack of joins or whatever, you know, is frustrating in your business right now? A man who lacks enthusiasm never develops it in another, but a person who is enthusiastic soon has enthusiastic followers. And if you have a hard time getting enthusiastic or excited, you got to figure out why. You got to figure out, what is it? He says, learn more about the thing you are not enthusiastic about. So there's always a root, you guys, just like the products get to the root of our health issues, there's a root to why we do or do not do things in our businesses. Okay. A lot of it is based on fear or belief. Basically, it comes down to that. If you really dig deep on coaching calls and get down to those nitty gritty questions of why people aren't enthusiastic or whatever, there's a root issue there. Okay. So if they're not enthusiastic, you need to find out why. And they can work on that. That's a skill set they can learn too. So I really appreciated that in these chapters.
That was
Totally.
good, Sal.
Totally agree, Sal. And it's something you have to practice, right? And you have to make yourself conscious of it. And sometimes people don't realize that about themselves, you know, and so you need to have that conversation. You know, if you're not seeing that, or if you're not hearing that, you know, if you're a leader or whatever, or you just need to self-reflect, because if you're new to this, you know, and that's why we love our three-way chats, because, you know, especially if you're new. Now, some of us that have been around for a while, you know, we've practiced a lot of those things, and I would pretty much bank on the fact that we're a successful team. And if based on the excitement that we've practiced, the things that we've done with our teams, the learning about the products a little bit more, learning about how to share, doing it with enthusiasm and excitement. And and if you do that and you use voice clips and you're working on learning and you're just go in and you are excited if somebody gets detox, like, hey, that's okay, and you're not like, oh, I'm so sorry, you're struggling. I know it must be so hard. It's just a flip of something, so you have to be self-aware. Am I having problems getting people started or whatever? Well, what could I be doing? Is it my message? Is my voice clips? Am I not connecting very well? Am I not making it about them? Because if you make stuff about them, just like he says, I don't know which section it was, but it's always about the other people. If you lift them up, you're going to be lifted up. Love God, love others. That's what we're here to do. And that's what I believe Plexus is 100% all about. And that's what these chapters really talked about. And it just totally fits in with what we do here. Like you can't, I've read through this whole thing. I'm like, yep, we do that. We do that. We do that. I'm like underlining and like, yeah, I'm so grateful because there are people who do this. And if you're not showing enthusiasm and excitement and learning and being excited about learning, it's going to be really hard for you to pass that on to other people and get them excited about the products or excited about the business. So, you have to practice it. And the more you do it, the more it just comes naturally. It will come naturally, but you have to do it over and over again.
On the bottom of that makes me think of on the bottom of page 175, it says, remember too, that other people want to be around alive, enthusiastic people. They don't want to be around complainers, half dead people. Yeah. So let's not be half dead.
I loved on page 195, number 6. I felt like that was really applicatory to us as in our businesses. It says study to get the quote unquote scratchy elements out of your personality. That's what we do on our coaching calls a lot of times. Yeah, we can strategize about businesses and things like that. But a lot of times, like Sal said, you got to get down to the why, to the root. Why are you feeling this way? What are you struggling with? Those are uncomfortable sometimes. And the scratchy elements, like it's hard to help others figure out their scratchy surfaces. And it's hard for us as ourselves to have that, done by our upline. And so I think we do that really well with our coaching calls. And another thing I loved was kind of right across the page on 194, a little bit more towards the bottom. Successful people follow a plan for liking people. I used to clean for a very, very successful couple I started cleaning before Plexus, but as I joined Plexus and learned personal growth, it was interesting to me because I started reading John Maxwell books and I thought he had to be like John Maxwell's little brother or something because he just was like amazing. He was a CEO of a very big corporation and was so wise and so calm, and just everything he did was leadership to the nines. And that's one thing I noticed about him was I'm sure he had a plan for liking people. He never said a negative word about anybody. He was always making an effort, treated me like I was the queen, not the cleaning lady. And that was something I learned from him. Was I could tell he really, really put forth an effort to like everybody. And that made a huge impression on me. So that was a good thing for me, because when I am in an unhealthy space, I sometimes don't like people. Like just in general, I'm like, I just want to be introverted and stay in my house. And I just think, yeah, we just got a lot to learn when we're in a healthy space, that we can like people. We're in a people business. We work with people every day. We need to like them. And if we don't, then we better get a little attitude adjustment and learn to like them.
It's so good, that esteeming others. So he was really good at esteeming the importance of others. Who else has something they want to share?
I really liked, I guess it kind of was both 8 and 9, but he talked at the end of 8 how we make money, and making money is not a bad thing, which we also talked about at Ruby Retreat. But in order to make money, we have to serve people, and that's all of, like, that is Plexus. We're just serving people. And so I thought that was really good, and that kind of led into you know, a little bit about what Janelle said too, with liking people and lifting them up, and, you know, calling out the good qualities in people, and making sure that they feel important. And that all plays into being successful, but also just being a good leader.
Yeah, that whole, if anybody wants that whole money, what was it called? I had that in my notes too, sorry, but should Christians want more money? Ask your upline if they can get you that video. That was really good about serving others first. Who else has something to share?
This is just something really, really simple, but it talks about how we act, and what we are thinking will reflect us. But it just made me think of the little song, "Oh, be careful, little ears. Oh, be careful, little eyes. Oh, be careful, little mind. Oh, be careful, little feet." What you do hear and see and where you go. It just reminds me, because that's what we do. We serve people. We, speak to people. So we just have to be so careful. And so it just reminded me of that little song. And then on the bottom of page 176, it says, "Good news gets good results. Broadcast it." That's what we're here for. We have good news, and it gives good results. So we just have to broadcast it.
That's good. I like that. I like how you put that together with what we do every day. What else you got?
I liked the questions at the end of chapter 9 when it talked about the Benjamin Fairless, when things go wrong, just do 2 things. What can I do to make myself more deserving for the next opportunity? So if you do a call and it doesn't go through, you don't get that customer. What can you do? What can I do better to make that call go better next time? Or was there something I could have done? Like, sometimes it's you have done everything that you can. And it really falls into their lap. And then it also, this is something that I have really worked on, is don't waste time and energy of being discouraged. Just plan to win next time. Don't, dwell on if somebody didn't follow through when you're doing what you need to do. Just pick up and keep going, because it's, you can only do what you can do and control yourself. You can't control what other people do. I can be enthusiastic. I can do all my follow-ups. I can do my IPA. I can do everything that I need to get done. But my journey, my journey is my journey. And this is where I'm at right now. But being discouraged is going to be in that channel N, not the channel P. And so keeping myself in the right channel is going to get me somewhere, not elsewhere. So I really really like those questions because a lot of times when I get done doing a call that did not go the way I wanted to, or even a conversation in a messenger, it didn't go the way, like I really liked, because I always think to myself what I could have done better, but actually having those questions written down, really, I liked being able to visualize and see and go through those.
I had that written down way at the end too, that I think we should really read that. So on page 209 and 210, the top of 210, what Benjamin Fairless, what I just feel we should read those 2 paragraphs, and make that our own. We can probably change the wording a little bit, but I think maybe some of that, when we want to berate ourselves, I really feel that is Satan's tactics, working on working on that channel N, and our negativity. That is not a God thought. I don't know what you guys feel, but. All right, it's 9:05. Does anybody have anything else you want to bring up? Love these chapters. Yeah, chapter 10 and 11 next week. I think that's right, Chris and Sal? Yeah, okay. Okay, no, there's time yet. You're valuable, remember that, and what you have has value too. All right, well, see you guys next week or on Monday night call probably first, and thank you all for joining and thanks for all your thoughts. Bye.